What you doing? Hi. She's looking at herself in the little monitor. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. As you can tell by the title, I'm going to be telling you guys about how I found out I was pregnant, how I told Tyler, and how we told our families. If you're new here, my name's Deja. I'm married to my husband Tyler, and we have a 4-month-old baby girl named Ayla. Actually, as a matter of fact, this past Thursday, February 28th, I turned 21, and Ayla turned 4 months old. We actually did like a mini mommy and me photo shoot. It was pretty fun. It was really cold though. I'll insert some pictures now. It was pretty fun though. I love dressing her and I like. It's so cute. She's actually in her crib right now drinking a bottle while I film. So, around this time last year, Tyler and I went home to Greenville for my birthday. And while we were there, we went ziplining and I also got a tattoo. All while pregnant. Now, I didn't know I was pregnant. Today is March 4th, tomorrow's March 5th. A year ago tomorrow is when I actually found out I was pregnant. So I had no, God bless you. I had no idea, of course, that I was even pregnant. But I did have some suspicions. I wasn't the same, and I could tell something was different, and I kept telling Tyler, I'm like, I think I might be, but I thought it was just so far out there that there's no way I could have been. I get asked often, was Ayla planned? And the answer is yes, she was. Now, most people don't like that answer for whatever reason, probably the main reason being my age, but I am married, we live in our own house, we moved away, we have the financial means to support her, and at the end of the day, no matter what, whether we have all the money in the world or no money at all, she is so, so loved. So, she was planned, but I didn't think it would happen right away. So I'll just give you a little backstory on that. About a year into Tyler and I's marriage, I just started noticing children and babies and mothers. And what I mean by that is, for anyone who knows me knows that I am not a kid person. Not that I don't like kids, of course I love them, they're so adorable and cute, but I've just never really, I guess, been comfortable around them. I've always wondered, like, what would I do, God forbid. I've always wondered, so many interruptions today. I've always wondered, what would I do, God forbid something were to happen. I've always thought I'd be a terrible mom. I wouldn't know what to do if the baby starts crying, if they don't want to eat, sleep, yada yada. But once I got married and we established our own relationship, we were our family now. This was our little family, us and our dogs. I don't know, just this overwhelming feeling took over. And I never really noticed, kids in the supermarket before. I never noticed a mother feeding her baby at the park before. I never really paid attention. It was just whatever to me. But this feeling I got, it was overwhelming. It was in my heart. I know that sounds cheesy, but that's the truth. I felt this feeling in my heart, in my gut. I wanted to be a mom. I wanted to have a baby. Now, I have a non-cancerous, itty-bitty, teeny tiny pituitary tumor in my pituitary gland. That's the little spot back here in your brain. And TMI, but that's always stopped me from getting my monthly cycle. I rarely ever got one to begin with, so I always wondered, could I even ever get pregnant? And because they diagnosed me with that when I was 15, that was never really you know, something to talk about. But I also didn't think that I'd ever want to be a mom, so I never paid attention to that either. Now, Tyler and I went to an endocrinologist about an hour away from where we live. And we went to her maybe, I think it was November of 2017. We got an MRI done. It's super, super teeny tiny. I used to be on medication for it, but the medication shrunk it down to the size that it is now, which is great. And she didn't see any problems. She wasn't concerned or anything. But she did ask me, are you guys trying for kids anytime soon? And at the time, we were like, no way. Even though we told her no, and Tyler was like, no way. Deep down in my heart, I knew I wanted to say yes. I wanted to say yes. I wish we were, but it just wasn't the time. So I had asked her, would my tumor prevent me from ever having kids? She said no, but she did say that it'd be very difficult to conceive. That made me angry. It made me sad because I know how hard it is to get pregnant in the first place, especially for people who are trying. There's lots of cases where people have sex for the first time and they get pregnant right away, but then there's also people and families who struggle with infertility or just bad timing altogether. So I knew how hard it would be considering we were actually going to try. So back to the appointment, the endocrinologist told me, should we change our mind within the next few months, to go back to see her because I would need to have been treated for my tumor in order to get pregnant successfully. So with that, again, I was just so angry inside. I was like, what is the point in me being on birth control? What is the point in even trying anymore? I have to be treated for it first. Who knows how long that would take? I was just really discouraged. So I had the Nexplanon implant in my arm, and this is just going to be a TMI video. I'm sorry, mom, dad, family, but I was bleeding for a very, very, very long time. The Nexplanon implant, that's just a side effect. I would be bleeding, but it wouldn't be my period. Like I said, the tumor that I have stopped my period altogether. So when I was bleeding, it wasn't because it was normal. It was just a side effect of the Nexplanon. So when she told me I couldn't get pregnant until I was treated for my tumor, I decided to go off of the Nexplanon implant and go on the pill. The reason I wasn't on the pill in the first place was I was just scared. I just heard so many horror stories of people missing one dose and getting pregnant right away. And the time I was on birth control, or that I started to be on birth control, I was not wanting kids. So I switched... So I switched over to the pill, and Tyler and I really sat down. We talked, God bless you. We talked about it, and we decided if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. So I really wasn't expecting to get a positive pregnancy test at all. I mean, yeah, there was a possibility. You should always assume if you are having sex that there's a possibility you could be pregnant. Whether you're on birth control, whether you use protection, you should always assume that you are. So even though it could have been a possibility, with the fact of me not getting a regular cycle, who knew if I was ovulating? And with what the doctor said, I just was so discouraged. I just had in my head, like, I'm not ever going to get pregnant. I'm going to go through infertility. I'm going to struggle. And that really scared me. And for weeks, months, I was just so sad. I was just so sad knowing what I was about to face, what I would have to go through in order to get pregnant. So again, mine and Tyler's mindset was, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. So, fast forward to when we went back home for my birthday. We stayed at Tyler's parents' house, and I remember they went to work, and we were at his parents' house all day. I am usually an early bird. I usually wake up around 6, 7 o'clock, not on purpose because no one likes waking up that early, but I just naturally do, and now especially with her. And Tyler would always sleep in, but for some reason on this trip back home, I was the one sleeping in and he was the one waking up super early, and we just thought that was really weird. I remember his parents came home, and you know, usually you all go hang out in the living room and whatnot, but I was just so exhausted. I was tired, and I didn't know why. So while he stayed in the living room with his parents, I slept for so long. I slept all day, all night. One day I slept 10 hours straight. I cannot make this up. 10 hours straight. Tyler woke me up and was like, hey, are you okay? Like, are you going to come spend time with my family? And now I feel bad because I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to fall asleep. I'm just so tired. But he was understanding, of course, and he's like, well, maybe it's just a trip. We've been doing a lot of traveling. We've been chasing after the dogs, and we have both our families there. So traveling back and forth to see all of our friends and family, he thought I was just exhausted from all of the driving. So he let me rest most of the time, and that was that. I wasn't having any nausea yet or anything. So fast forward to March 5th of last year. We were driving back home here to Jacksonville, and it's a 6-hour drive between Greenville and Jacksonville. I'm not the type of person to have to use the bathroom all the time, but for some reason, of course we know the reason, on this trip I had to use the bathroom so bad. And I wasn't holding my pee very long before I felt this cramping, so much cramping. And I kind of got excited because I thought, oh my gosh, I'm cramping. Maybe I'm finally getting my period again. So we pull into a McDonald's, I go use the bathroom, and I'm like crossing my fingers that when I use the bathroom, I see that I've gotten my period. Because if I've gotten my period, that means my body's working the way it should again, and then maybe there's a possibility I could get pregnant, or maybe there's just a possibility that my tumor is no more. So I was just really excited to get it. But when I went to the bathroom, it wasn't there. And I just thought it was really weird that I was cramping as much as I was, and it wasn't my period. We get back home, and I don't know, maybe a woman's intuition, you just kind of know. I just fell off the entire trip. I was sleeping more, eating more. I was exhausted all the time. I had no energy. And then the cramping that had started that day. So we get home, and this particular trip, Tyler's parents were moving out of their old house into their new house. And while they were going through all of their furniture, they gave Tyler his old bedroom set that we would bring here to use for our guest bedroom. So he had a trailer full of the furniture, and so I had to use the bathroom again. Like I said, I'm not a person that has to use the bathroom all the time, but this particular day, I just had to keep using the bathroom. So while he was getting everything unhooked from the trailer and all the furniture put out onto our porch, at this time we were living in an apartment, I ran upstairs, I used the bathroom, and I had a test, a really cheap, like 88-cent test from Walmart, sitting under the sink. I was like, you know what, let me just take it, because of course, like I said, you should always assume that there's a possibility that you could be pregnant. So I said, let me just take it and rule it out so I can stop being so crazy, so I can just stop assuming. So I took the test, and right away, 2 lines popped up. And I didn't feel anything. I wasn't scared or anything. I was just like, wow, I got a cheap test. It didn't work. Like, it's probably a false positive. So I had one more lying in the back of our bathroom cabinet. I didn't know how old it was. And I'm like, let me just try this one. That one was faulty. I took that one. Boom, 2 lines right away. And I was like, wait a minute. There's no way I could have gotten 2 false positives coincidentally. There's no way. So at this point, I'm shaking. I'm shaking uncontrollably. And I'm like not even happy yet. I'm not sad. I'm not mad. I'm nervous because I wasn't expecting that at all. So of course, because I don't believe it myself yet, I hide the tests and I go back downstairs to help Tyler unpack all of our bags and whatnot. And I'm trying to hide how nervous I am. I'm literally breaking into a sweat. I'm shaking uncontrollably. I can't look him in his face, and I don't want to tell him yet because I don't even believe it yet myself. So he's unloading everything from the trailer, and he's like, "What's the matter with you?" And I'm like, "What? Nothing. Nothing's the matter with me. What's wrong with you? Why are you questioning me?" And I'm being so obvious, and he was like, "Relax. I was just asking," and I was like, "I'm sorry," and I was trying so hard to hide it. I'm a terrible liar. So his friend, because the furniture was so bulky, and we lived on the second floor in our apartments, he called his friend to come over and help him. So I said, "You know what? It's been a long trip. Your friend's coming over. He's never had these donuts before." Tyler and I's favorite donut shop, because we don't have one in Greenville, we have one here in Jacksonville. It's called Duck Donuts. It is the best. They make them right in front of you. They're so delicious. They have every flavor combination you could ever think of. Anyway, they're amazing. I told Tyler, I said, "Hey, well, since he's coming to help you, why don't I go pick up some donuts and, you know, as a treat for all of us, since we just got back and whatever." He's like, "Yeah, sure." So I get dressed in 2.5 seconds because I was wearing pajamas on the way home because it's just comfortable. I get dressed in 2.5 seconds and I get in my car. I have the test with me. I call my friend and I FaceTimed her and I said, "I think I'm pregnant." Even though I have 2 positives right there, I say, "I think I am." And she's like, "No way, no way, send me a picture." And I kept trying to send her a picture and it wouldn't go through. She's like, "You're lying, you're lying." And I'm like, "No, I swear." And my stomach is in a knot. And now I feel nauseous. Not because I'm pregnant, but because I'm just so nervous. So as I'm trying to send her a picture, my mom and my dad both at the same exact time FaceTime me. I'm like, what is going on? Why are they calling at the same time? They know. Somehow they know. And they wouldn't stop calling. And I'm like, "Why are you calling me? Why are you calling?" So I answer my dad's call first. And I'm like, "Hi." He's like, "Hey, did you make it home?" And I'm like, Yep, I made it home. I'm fine. Okay, I'll talk to you later." I'm being so obvious because, like I said, I'm such a bad liar. So they just wanted to make sure Tyler and I made it home okay and that we made it home safe. So I hang up with them. I call my friend back. She finally sees the test that they're positive. And she's crying. She's bawling her eyes out. I'm like, oh my goodness. Like, her crying makes it a little bit more real because someone else knows. I'm not the only person who sees this. Like, there's 2 lines clearly right there. So I head over to the donut shop. And again, I am jittery. I'm shaking so bad. And I told the woman, I just want a dozen donuts, a random assortment, but make sure one of them is maple bacon. That one's Tyler's favorite. And because of the occasion, I wanted him to have his favorite one. I'm like shaky, and like I said, that's our favorite donut shop and we go there often. So the workers kind of recognize me. They kind of know like that I'm there all the time. And so she's like, "Hey, are you okay?" "Yeah, I just found out that I'm pregnant and I'm about to tell my husband with these donuts and I don't know what to do." I'm just telling her all my truth right there in the middle of a donut shop. And she's like, "Oh my goodness, oh my gosh, congratulations." She's just so happy. So they're making the donuts. Like I said, they make them fresh right there. So it was taking like a little minute to get them. And I'm pacing back and forth, walking back and forth this donut shop. I'm still texting my friend. She's like, "I can't believe you're pregnant. Oh my God, you're pregnant. And her just saying the word pregnant, I was just like, that's so, it was like a foreign language to me. It's crazy. It's really, I can't describe it. I had the woman who made the donuts write, "Eat up, I can't be the only one getting a belly. Baby Woodard 2018. I couldn't write it because I was shaking too much and I tried writing it and it looked like a child wrote it. So I had her rewrite it for me. And then I had her give me a little to-go bag of for the donuts and I put the pregnancy tests in there. So I headed back home and Tyler's friend is there now. They're sitting on the couch. They had to finish bringing the furniture up. And I put the donuts in the middle of the table and I start recording and I'm still nervous. I don't think you understand. And I start recording. I'll insert that for you now.
No, I can't be. What? What?
Push it open.
What? That's awesome! Come here!
I didn't expect him to read it out loud, but it played out perfectly. I didn't know what to think. He didn't know what to think. Of course, he was happy and I was happy, but it just didn't feel real. So after I stopped recording, we hugged for a really, really long time. And I don't know, I felt kind of numb almost. Does that make any sense? I felt numb because I still couldn't believe it. So weeks go by. Anyone who knows me knows that I am extremely, extremely close to both my mom and my dad. We talk every single day. I FaceTime both my parents every single day. If we don't FaceTime, then we're on the phone. If we're not on the phone, we're texting, sending pictures. I talk to them every single day. They know what I'm doing, where I'm at. We're just close like that. So talking to them every single day between the time I found out and my 12-week checkup, because I didn't want to announce until I made the 12-week mark, was extremely difficult. Hey, what you doing? So it was extremely hard to keep it from them. And I had all these doctor's appointments and they're like, oh, what are you doing today? And I had, oh, I have a doctor's appointment. It's just a regular checkup. Little did they know I was pregnant. So we waited to tell anyone else. Tyler and I have a favorite park that we go to all the time. We usually fish there, or they have some trails that we just walk every now and then. So because it's so beautiful there, we went and bought some neutral colored baby shoes, and we got some, had some tan boots and he had some brown shoes, and we laid them out on different places of the park and we took some pictures of the shoes, and that was going to be our announcement pictures. The day comes for us to tell our parents, and I think we told Tyler's parents first because I was scared to tell my parents. I just felt like maybe my mom and dad would be upset or disappointed because, like I said, they didn't want me getting married in the first place, and it wasn't even a year into our marriage when I got pregnant. So I was just kind of nervous and I just wasn't ready to tell them yet. I felt like telling Tyler's parents first, they couldn't really get mad at me because they're his parents, you know? So we told them first. Of course, they were happy. And then it was time to tell my parents. I told my mom first. I FaceTimed my mom, and my sister was sitting right next to her. So I was like, okay, well, let me send it to my sister's phone. That way I can see their reactions. Unfortunately, we didn't record any of our family's reactions. We kind of just kept that for ourselves. But, so yeah, I sent it to my sister, and I was like, hey, I just sent you a really cool picture. Can you guys look at it together? And she's like, yeah, sure, whatever. So we're on FaceTime, just waiting for it to send, and it goes through. And they look, and I told them something stupid. Like, I was so nervous. I told them, like, hey, we bought Tuffy, my dog, some dog shoes. I'm sending you a picture of dog shoes. So when they got the picture, it didn't click right away because I told them it was dog shoes, and they're little teeny tiny ones. So they assumed that's what it was. So my sister actually figured it out first. She was like, wait a minute, why are there 3 pairs? Those are your shoes, I recognize them. So then my mom finally like realizes it, and her mouth just drops, and she's just staring at my sister's phone. And my sister's like jumping up and down, she's screaming, excited, and my mom's just like staring at the phone. I'm like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, why isn't she smiling? Say something, talk, just say something. And my mom jumps up and down, she's like, I'm gonna be a grandma. And I was like, I could finally breathe. Like, I was holding my breath the entire time. And seeing her reaction, I just start crying. Just naturally start crying. And she's like, why are you crying? I'm like, because I thought you'd be so upset with me. I'm so glad you're happy. She's like, I don't have time to be upset. I'm going to be a grandma. Did you know I'm going to be a grandma? And she's just so excited. She's so happy. My sister's so excited. I'm like, oh my God, thank God, thank God. So I was so happy. They were happy for us too. Then it was time to tell my dad. We did the same thing. We FaceTimed him. I sent him the picture. And he's like, that's not what I think it is. I'm like, yeah. I showed him my ultrasound of baby girl. And he's like, am I going to be a grandpa? No, I'm going to be a grandpa. And he was a little more like sentimental about it. And I'm like, yeah, Dad, I'm pregnant. And he was so happy too. Both my parents and Tyler's parents, they were both extremely supportive from the very beginning. They couldn't wait to meet her, to spoil her, and let me tell you, she is spoiled. So my camera died, but we're back in action. Like I was saying, yeah, so she's extremely spoiled. We told our families, and then we waited a few days to tell everyone else, to post it and announce it everywhere else. And I received so much support, so many people were happy. I never once received any negative comments on social media anyway. I did get some nasty messages, but that's life. People just, for some reason, go out of their way to try to make you feel less than for whatever reason, but that's okay. Like I said in one of my other videos, I do get a lot of messages from people I know, people I don't know, people younger than me, people older than me, who are scared of what people are going to say or what people are going to think. I've had some people message me and tell me, yeah, me and my boyfriend, me and my significant other are trying to get pregnant, but we're scared of this. Or some people who didn't mean to get pregnant and they're like, well, I'm about your age, what did you do? And honestly, my best advice is if you're trying, it will happen in its own timing. I don't know if you're religious, but it will happen when it's meant to be in God's timing. What's meant to be yours is going to be yours. Maybe not as soon as you'd like it to be, but eventually it will. Another question I get asked too is how long did it take for me to get pregnant? And actually, I think a month or two after I stopped my birth control is when I got pregnant. Again, I don't really know like when she was conceived or anything of that nature because I don't get my period. So going to my appointments was really kind of confusing because that's the first thing they always ask you is when was your last period? And I don't know when my last one was. And to be completely honest, I haven't had a period in the past 2 years. Obviously not at all last year considering I was pregnant up until October. But even 2017 because of the tumor and the birth control and just hormones altogether, I haven't had a period in over 2 years. So that was kind of tricky. And my best advice to anyone who didn't mean to get pregnant, don't be ashamed. Don't try to hide it. Don't try to make excuses to try to please other people. Coming from a place where I've listened to and heard a lot of other women's stories, I can say that you should never feel ashamed. You should never feel less than. You should never feel like your life isn't perfect because it wasn't planned. No one's life is perfect. I actually was texting one of my really good friends the other day, and she asked me what Tyler and I were going to do for my birthday. And I had told her that he was going to cook me my favorite dinner, and we were going to have my favorite dessert and just spend the night in. He took the pictures of me and Ayla that I showed you earlier. And, you know, we were just going to chill out and spend the night together. And she texted me back and said, ugh, I wish I had your life. And I said, why would you say that? She's like, I don't know. It just seems like you have everything together. It just seems so perfect. And I texted her back and I was like, no, girl, no. It may seem that way. It may seem that way. But it's not. My life is not perfect. my age has nothing to do with being married or being a mom, but marriage in itself is hard. Relationships are hard. Parenthood is hard. It is, and that's just a fact. But that doesn't mean it's not worth it. It doesn't mean you don't work for it, you don't fight for it, but nothing is perfect. And I know that maybe my pictures on Instagram or Facebook, or maybe even my videos, may seem like I have my life put together, or it may seem like I have a perfect life. That's not what I want for my channel. That's not what I want for my social media. Of course, I'm not going to post pictures of the days that I'm crying, because that'd just be a little weird. But that doesn't mean that I don't have them. That doesn't mean I don't have hard days. It doesn't mean that life just doesn't get hard. For example, today was just a hard day. It was. But you push through it, you fight for it, and you realize that it's all worth it in the end. Seeing Ayla's little smile instantly changes my mood. Watching her roll over, or learning to hold her bottle, or putting her own pacifier in her mouth, little things like that. It's the little things. Just put such a big smile on my face. I don't want you guys to think that I have it all together. I don't want you to think that I'm trying to put up this perfect image of myself that's not really true. Tyler and I, we have our bad days. I have my days where I feel like I'm only a wife and a mother. There's days where I'm searching for myself, me as Deja. That's what I'm going through right now in this part of my life. I'm trying to learn how to be a wife, how to be a mother, and how to be myself. I'm trying to be all three, because I can't just be a wife and a mother. I need myself too. Does that make sense? I hope so. I hope that you can take something away from this. I hope it makes you feel better. I hope that you don't think that my life is perfect, because it's just not. It's not. And I don't want it to be, because our disagreements, my bad days, the days I feel lonely, the days I feel isolated, stressing over my college work, stressing over what video to post next, the quality of my videos, just anything. It teaches you things. It makes you grow. It builds character. And it is what it is. I want to be as transparent as possible. The whole reason I even wanted to start my channel in the first place was to be relatable, was to give advice, and was to help people. So that's what I intend to do. And to do that, I need to show you that I go through the same exact thing everyone does, and I understand. When I get messages from you guys and you tell me, hey, I've gone through this same situation, or I'm going through this situation, how should I go about it? What did you do when you were in the situation? Just advice in general. When you ask me for advice, when you tell me your story, even if we don't know each other, even if we used to be friends and we haven't talked in years, I want to be there for other people, because I wish I had someone there for me when I was going through it. So even if it's a situation that maybe I haven't experienced myself, I still do empathize with other people. And again, that's why I started my channel, was to help other people. I really appreciate all of your guys' messages, your support, your love, your likes, comments, everything. It really touches me when I get messages from you guys, and I hope that you continue, because I want to be there to help. If you guys have any questions, just DM me, leave them down below, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching.